Hello there. Welcome back. Hopefully some of you were able to check out my video that I did last Friday. I am challenging myself to come in here live every single Friday and just talk about a topic that's really important to me and has been just a game changer in my life, and that is my relationship with alcohol and my decision to no longer drink alcohol and to be alcohol free for over 3 years. But before I get into that, I have to show you my loaf, which I just took. I mean, like, she is so gorgeous. Holy cow. Anyway, I did not think this one was going to turn out beautiful, and it did. I have a sourdough workshop tonight, so that is going to be enjoyed by a group of women. Side note, if you're curious about sourdough, gut health, really want to host a fun girls' night, these are the best, and the fall is a great time for them. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about sourdough. We're talking about alcohol. So again, my name is ppici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici:Phici: and I am fascinated by the subconscious mind, and I have been alcohol-free for over 3 years, and my goal is to help women who don't love their relationship with alcohol, yet they find themselves continuing to drink, or maybe constantly thinking about it, which is even just as exhausting. I really want to help people think differently about alcohol. So last week we kind of unpacked what are some of our subconscious beliefs around sobriety. And it's so funny how these like childhood memories just come rushing back to me once I start thinking about it. So maybe if you're taking some time to think about these things, the same thing is happening for you. But today we're going to actually talk about what are those subconscious beliefs that we have that are driving us around alcohol. And this can be so different for so many different people. So I'm going to kind of tell you my experience, but I've spoken with so many women, and it's really fascinating how different it has played out in so many people's lives. So I'll start with a story again. So I come from a very big family. They are a ton of fun. They are loud, and we all love to laugh. And so anytime we would all get together as kids at these big Hunkins family parties, and the other side of the family too. But alcohol was always involved. It was always like free flowing. People were certainly always drinking, and everybody was having so much fun. Like as a kid, these were my absolute most favorite days of the year when the whole family was getting together. Now, it's ironic as an adult, because I can look back and see that now when we aren't all drinking, we're just as loud and we're laughing just as much and we're having just as much fun. But as a child, I noticed that. I noticed that like, oh man, the wine, the beer is flowing and everybody's having so much fun. And I also have in my family quite a few recovered alcoholics. Maybe some people that still have a problem with alcohol, but really quite a few that certainly knew they did. They went to AA and they didn't drink for years, including both of my grandpas. And so I really got this subconscious message because all these people were like over here having so much fun, drinking and imbibing. And then my grandpa was always very quiet, and he was kind of sitting off to himself, and he wasn't drinking, right? Because he was a recovered alcoholic. And so anyway, I got this message, right? That like alcohol was fun. That's one of those messages that I got. And I also got a message that like only some people have an issue, right? So let's talk about three. When I look back and think about it, there are definitely like 3 beliefs I had around alcohol, and I would love to know what yours are. And I want to tell you what I found to be true about it, because it kept me from wanting to give it up. These beliefs were so powerful in my mind that I'm like, oh. So the first is that alcohol is fun. I mean, of course, I 100% like looked at these parties, which were such a good time, and all these adults having so much fun. And I'm like, one of these days I'm going to be able to have that drink in my hand and, you know, be like them. So looking back, I mean, can alcohol be fun? Yes. And it usually is really fun for like that first 10 to 15 minutes after you have a drink, right? Now, eventually I got to the point where I was giving up way more than I was gaining from that. But I look back and I had this thought one day. I was like, you know, back when I was a child and we would all get together, and I thought all the parents were having so much fun because of alcohol. I was having so much fun. Those are my favorite days of the year. And of course I wasn't drinking alcohol as a child, right? So it dawned on me that at some point I accepted this belief that I had to have alcohol to have fun at these parties, or to have fun, you know, on a Friday night baseball game, whatever. Like alcohol signaled fun. And I guess what I want to say here is I think we give alcohol way too much power, Because then if you ever want to go without it, what are you telling yourself? Well, that's great. I'm going to be the one not drinking, not having any fun, right? It turns out as a child, I still had so much fun at those parties because what is it that's actually making it so much fun? It's the connection that we have from being around everybody else. It's the amazing laughter and jokes that we tell. It's the delicious food that we get to eat. It's the connection and the conversation. None of that goes away when you go alcohol free. And there will be a time when it feels very uncomfortable. And in the beginning, it is very uncomfortable to remember what you used to enjoy easily as a child, but it will come back around. And if you're early on in your sobriety, you might be like, I can't even believe the story that I'm getting ready to tell. But at Christmas a couple of years ago, we were having so much fun. And my cousins told my aunt the next day, they're like, Mom, Julie is still drinking. She was definitely drunk last night. And I wasn't. I absolutely was not, but I was having so much fun. It's like that inner child finally comes out again because it's down there, and it really just actually enjoys the people and the food and the community and the party, which you would enjoy anyway, with or without the alcohol. So quit giving the drink so much power. Okay, the second belief that I think I took on is that it definitely kind of like helps loosen up or helps people to connect with one another. And there's no doubt, especially as adults, as you get older and you're meeting new people and you're having drinks and you're going to social gatherings, there's no doubt that alcohol can take the edge off in that regard. Again, I totally admit that. And we've had to join so many new communities while I've been sober. There were some times I'm like, man, the old Julie would have just fit in really quickly here. But I really had to think about what I was giving up, right? Because even though the alcohol took the edge off and maybe helped me instantly connect with people, it brought out a side of me that was like, I still say some things I shouldn't say. So I would say some things I really shouldn't be saying. I would connect with people, but maybe it wasn't the best version of myself that was connecting with those people, right? And now when you don't have the cloud of that drink, you're going to connect with the people that you're meant to connect with, right? It's going to eventually feel more real. And yes, you will be more vulnerable and the connections will be deeper. But just in that beginning time, does it feel a little awkward? And then eventually you will find yourself again in sobriety. And the last thing is that, of course, I'm at this party, right? All these people over here drinking, having a great time. Just like kind of like my story last week. And then there's my grandpa who's just kind of quiet, off to himself, not drinking. I believed it's a problem for him. It's not a problem for the rest of these people. And it makes me think it would be just like if I went out to dinner with someone who was a type 2 diabetic and it's dessert time and I order this big, amazing piece of chocolate cake and they're just sitting there watching me eat it. And I just think to myself, I feel so bad for them that they have a problem with sugar. And in the meantime, I'm just eating my chocolate cake. And maybe it's a chocolate cake that I used to have once a week, but then I was having it every weekend. And then I was having it 3 to 4 days a week. And in the meantime, my insulin resistance is growing and my A1C is getting higher. And pretty much what I'm trying to say is this person was on a spectrum of diabetes, and so am I. If I continue with the same decisions over and over and over again, I might eventually get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And it might be in 1 year, it might be in 5 years, it might be in 20, it might be never, but we don't know. But what we do know is that alcohol is an addictive substance. And if we are consuming it, we're somewhere on that spectrum. If you don't love your relationship with alcohol, that is that inner voice trying to tell you something. So it's not that just certain people have a problem, okay? Just like with sugar. It's not only type 2 diabetics, and the rest of us will never become a type 2 diabetic. We know that's not true, right? So if you're having that gut deep down nagging feeling, you don't like how much you think about it, you don't like your relationship with it, you don't like that you want to quit, but you keep doing it, you listen to that little voice and just try. And you can reach out to me. I'd love to help you. So with all that, I would just love to hear, some of you would prefer to message me privately, but I'd love to hear if you have any subconscious beliefs about alcohol that you can kind of look back and think like, yeah, I just believe these things and I don't even ever think about it or challenge them. I'd love to hear. I have a dear friend whose dad was an alcoholic, and alcohol just signaled like misery and sadness for her. And so for her, she was like, I can't believe alcohol signifies like fun and fellowship for you. I'm like, isn't that so interesting that we could have such different experiences with that? But we have to challenge it. We have to challenge these beliefs that are, undermining our everyday decisions or our every week decisions. And maybe we don't like where it's leading us. So, okay, good luck this weekend. If you are trying to go alcohol free, good luck. I wish you the best. And please reach out to me if you'd ever like any assistance or support.